Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night, completely unable to move a muscle? Your eyes are open, you're fully aware of your surroundings, but your body is frozen, held captive by some unseen force. Your chest feels heavy, as if someone or something is sitting on you, crushing the air from your lungs. You try to scream, but no sound comes out. All you can manage is a choked, silent gasp. This terrifying experience is known as sleep paralysis. For centuries, people all over the world have described this state not as a sleep disorder, but as a visitation. A visitation from something dark, something ancient, and something malevolent. Science has its explanations, of course. They call it atonia, a natural state where your muscles are paralyzed during REM sleep to stop you from acting out your dreams. They say sleep paralysis happens when your mind wakes up before your body does. It's just a glitch in the system, a simple misalignment of your sleep cycles. But what if it's more than that? What if science is just putting a neat, tidy label on something it can't truly comprehend? What if, in that vulnerable state between sleep and wakefulness, you're not alone? Think about the folklore. Across countless cultures, the stories are chillingly similar. In Japan, they speak of the kanashibari, which translates to bound by metal. It's believed to be the work of vengeful spirits. In Brazil, it's the pisadeira, a crone with long fingernails who stalks the rooftops at night, trampling on the chests of those who sleep on a full stomach. Newfoundland, it's the old hag, a witch who leaves her physical body to sit on her victims, draining them of their life force. The names and details change, but the core experience remains the same, a feeling of being pinned down, suffocated, and terrorized by a shadowy presence. Are these all just coincidences, or are they fragmented memories of a universal, horrifying truth? Let me tell you a story. A friend of mine, let's call him Alex, used to be a complete skeptic. He laughed at ghost stories and dismissed anything supernatural. Then, it happened to him. He woke up one night, flat on his back, his body like stone. Panic set in immediately. He could see his room, illuminated by the faint glow of a street lamp outside his window. Everything was normal, except for one thing. A tall, slender figure was standing in the corner, shrouded in shadows. It had no discernible features, just a void where a face should be. Alex tried to scream, to fight, to do anything, but he was powerless. The figure began to move, gliding across the floor without making a sound. It was impossibly slow, deliberate. With every inch it moved closer, the air in the room grew colder, and a low, humming sound filled his ears, vibrating deep within his chest. The pressure on his chest intensified until he felt like his ribs would crack. He could feel its presence right next to his bed, looming over him. He shut his eyes, praying for it to be a dream, a nightmare. When he finally managed to open them again, it was leaning over him, its featureless face just inches from his own. He felt a cold, foul breath on his skin. In that moment, he was certain he was going to die. Then, as suddenly as it began, he could move. He shot up in bed, drenched in a cold sweat, his heart hammering against his ribs. The figure was gone. The room was empty. Was it just a hallucination? A product of a brain caught between two states of consciousness? That's what he tried to tell himself. But he couldn't shake the feeling. The sheer, primal terror was too real. And the details, the cold, the humming sound, the crushing weight, these are elements reported by thousands of people who have experienced the same thing. They describe shadow people, dark figures with no faces, sometimes wearing a hat. They talk about old hags, demonic creatures, and aliens standing by their beds. These aren't just bad dreams. They feel profoundly, terrifyingly real. The scientific explanation calls these visions hypnagogic or hypnopompic hallucinations, hallucinations that occur as you're falling asleep or waking up. The brain, still partially in a dream state, projects dream imagery onto the real world. This explains seeing things that aren't there. The feeling of pressure on the chest, that is attributed to the paralysis of the chest muscles combined with the panicked breathing of someone who thinks they're resuffocating. It all sounds very logical, very neat, but it doesn't account for everything. It doesn't explain why so many people see the exact same things. Why the shadow man? Why the old hag? Carl Jung might have called it part of the collective unconscious, archetypal figures that represent our deepest fears, but that's still just a theory. It doesn't explain the accounts of shared sleep paralysis experiences, where two people in the same room experience it at the same time and see the same entity. How can a personal, internal brain glitch manifest for two people simultaneously? It also doesn't explain the physical sensations that linger, scratches appearing on the body, the feeling of being watched for days after an episode, the distinct smell, like sulfur or decay, that fills the room during the paralysis and sometimes lingers afterward. These are details that stretch the boundaries of simple hallucination. Consider the nature of that state. You are trapped in your own body, a prisoner in your own bed. You are utterly vulnerable. What if that vulnerability is like an open door, a beacon in the dark for things that exist on a different plane of reality? Entities that feed on fear. They wait for us to enter that in-between state, the perfect time to cross over and interact with us. They don't need to break down doors or shatter windows. They just wait for our own minds to unlock the cage. One of the most disturbing aspects is the sense of intelligence. People who experience this don't just see a random, static image. the entities move, they react. They seem to enjoy the terror they're causing. A woman I read about described seeing a small, gargoyle-like creature perched on her dresser. It just sat there, watching her struggle, and then it smiled a wide, toothy grin. It knew she was terrified, and it was feeding on it. This isn't a random firing of neurons. This is predatory behavior. Think about the times and places where sleep paralysis is most common. It often happens during periods of high stress, sleep deprivation, or emotional turmoil. In other words, when we are at our weakest, is it that our brain is more likely to glitch under these conditions? Or is it that our spiritual and mental defenses are lowered, making us more susceptible to outside influence? In folklore, demons and evil spirits are always drawn to weakness and despair. It's the perfect hunting ground. Maybe the scientific and the supernatural explanations aren't mutually exclusive. Maybe science is correctly describing the how, the mechanics of muscle atonia and the waking mind, but it completely misses the what. It's describing the mechanism of the trap, but it refuses to acknowledge the hunter that uses it. The state of sleep paralysis might be a naturally occurring biological phenomenon, but it could be one that opens a window to something else. A doorway that, for most of us, thankfully, remains shut. But for some, it swings wide open, and what comes through is not a friend. For those who have never been through it, it's easy to dismiss. It's just a dream. But for those who have felt that crushing weight, who have seen the shadow in the corner of their room, who have heard whispers in a language they don't understand, it is the most real and terrifying experience of their lives. It's a brush with a reality we are not meant to see. A glimpse into the shadows that dance just at the edge of our perception. So, the next time you go to bed, tired and stressed, and you wake up in the dead of night, unable to move, remember the stories. Remember the old hag, the Pisadera, the shadow man. And as you lie there, helpless, and you feel the mattress dip beside you, ask yourself, is this just a glitch in my brain? Or has something finally noticed that the door is unlocked? Be careful what you believe, because sometimes belief is all it takes to draw their attention. Sweet dreams. And if you enjoyed this journey into the dark, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more unsettling truths. Stay safe.